appraisal handling. How you handle the appraisal can make or break a sale. As you know, that's because there's usually quite a difference between what a prospect's car is worth to you on a trade-in and the amount he thinks he ought to get for the car. In his mind, that well-used buggy looks quite glamorous when it comes to turning it in. But when you look at that appraisal sheet, your mental picture is quite different, based on the factual picture the appraisal analysis gives you. So, there you have two viewpoints, two dimensions. Now, let's bring in a third dimension. 3D appraisal handling means define the dollar difference. This 3D method is being used by successful Pontiac salesmen in every part of the country. We've drawn on their experience for some examples. It might give you some ideas. We'll see that there are different ways of handling appraisals to meet different situations. Well, this prospect is feeling mighty low. He's just heard about the appraisal. Notice how the salesman tries to get him in a more agreeable mood and uses the 3Ds.
But I'll take my car plus $1,700?
Well, you've had good service out of that car, haven't you?
Well, yes, but,
It's been economical transportation, wouldn't you say?
Well, I guess I got my money's worth out of it.
Mr. Brown, that car doesn't owe you a cent. And there's still a lot of good miles in it. That's what our appraiser thinks. Of course, due to natural wear and tear, there has to be some work put into it. Well, she needs new rings and overhaul the generator, 2 new tires, new battery, bumping and spot refinishing, and, of course, tune-up. Our appraiser figures these things very carefully. We want to be fair with you as well as with the next owner of the car.
Well, I guess it needs all that, but I thought I could get more for it.
Well, look at it this way, Mr. Brown. Consider what you're getting for the difference in dollars between your car and a brand new Pontiac. Now, for $77 a month in your car, you get that new Pontiac you've been looking at, with the Hydra-Matic drive and the other accessories you mentioned. You'll have a car you can be proud of. And really all it costs you is that $77 a month difference. And that's the important thing, what you get for that dollar difference.
Oh, I see.
In that incident, the salesman complimented the prospect on his old car to get him in an agreeable mood. In other words, he got agreement. Then he emphasized the fairness of the appraisal and reviewed features of the new car in terms of the dollar difference. Everything that he did was tied into that dollar difference. Sometimes a prospect insists on knowing the exact allowance figure, as in our next, for instance, where he's the kind who likes to dicker. Even so, you'll see that our salesman gets around to that dollar difference soon enough.
Well, what does the man say? How much for the old car?
The new Pontiac comes to $68 a month in your car.
But what are you allowing? That's what I want to know.
$10.50?
That seems low to me.
I think you'll agree that's a fair appraisal, Mr. Keene. Tell you what, let's see what some of the used car ads say in the paper, huh?
Come on, you can kick it up higher than that. Sharpen up your pencil, man.
Let's see. Now, here we are. Well, here's one. Same year as yours, $9.90. There's another one, $9.50.
Hold on. Here's one for $10.75. That's $25 more than what you're offering me.
Yes, but has a lot of deluxe equipment, and it's all ready to go. You see, we're going to have to do some work on your car, and naturally that costs money.
Got a better deal on the other side of town than yours. About $1,400 in my car.
Was that a firm appraisal?
Sure was. I have the salesman's figures right here.
For the same Pontiac we've shown you with the deluxe radio, heater, power steering?
Yeah.
Mr. Keene, I think you'll find this is about as good a deal as you can make anywhere. and it's based on exactly the car you want. New Pontiac 8 with the smooth appearance you like, and the deluxe features that you've mentioned. And you get all that for just $68 a month in your car. That's all it actually costs you.
Let's see, what would that amount to?
When the salesman was confronted with a man who insisted on knowing the actual appraisal, he referred to used car prices to show appraisal fairness. Then he emphasized what the customer was getting for the dollar difference. So, once again, define the dollar difference became the key to a sale. In our next example, the prospect is stalling, and that calls for another kind of handling.
So, Mr. Johnson, for $106 a month in your car, you drive home that new Catalina. I'll bet Mrs. Johnson will be proud of that car.
I think I'll wait a little while. The old jalopy will run me a few more months.
Well, it's got plenty of miles on it. You'd avoid possible trouble by switching now.
Fella has other things to do with his money, you know.
Yeah, isn't it the truth? How much per month were you paying for your old car?
$81.
81. Well, that makes a difference of just $25 a month. And look how much more car you get. Mr. Johnson, if I were you, I'd do it now. Right now, we can make you this deal. Maybe a different story a week from now.
Next week?
Well, used car prices can't be depended on. And just now, we could use one more car of your model. Mr. Johnson, that new Pontiac give your family a lot of pleasure.
Yeah, the family would like it, all right.
We could spread the difference over 24 months. That would reduce your payments to $81 a month, just what you paid for your own car. And that includes the extra equipment you chose and the carefree pleasure of a new automobile, right?
Yeah. 24 months.
That's one way of handling the prospect who makes excuses for delaying a decision. In this case, our salesman presented the hazards of delay, suggested a 24-month deal to reduce payments, and sold the features of the car in terms of the dollar difference. Now, let's look at a situation in which the prospect is the adamant kind, who feels that you're asking him to give his car away. Here again, there is need to define the dollar difference, as we shall see.
Now, wait a minute. If you think I'm going to let you have my car for only $1,100, you're crazy. I can get $150 more on that other car I mentioned.
Well, Mr. Thomas, we're giving you full top dollar. You see, in order to sell your car at the current market price, we're going to have to do considerable work on it. I know you realize we have the reputation for being a very reliable dealer. Everything we do has to help that reputation rather than injure it. What you're suggesting is that I give you a discount.
But that offer is $1,250.
Mr. Thomas, have you compared their offer with ours to see the actual dollar difference?
No.
Well, why don't we do it right now? Break it down item by item, see just exactly what you're getting and what it's costing you.
That's fair enough.
All right. Now, this other car, what's the total price?
That started out to be a tough one. But our salesman was able to break down the deal and show an unaccounted-for amount in the competitor's price. He emphasized the advantages of his dealership, the fair value of the allowance, the features included in the dollar difference. 3D handling of appraisals makes good sense to the prospects, too. After all, they're interested in knowing what they get for their money. In the 4 examples we've seen, each prospect was different and called for different handling. But in every case, the clincher was selling the advantages of a new Pontiac in terms of the dollar difference. The 3D method gets the customer's mind off what he thinks that old car was worth and switches his thinking to what he gets. in a new Pontiac for the difference. $3D appraisal handling. Define the dollar difference. Will help you get the prospect to act now. Use it as a key to open the door between the appraisal and the sale.
As you know, you start to close a sale the moment a prospect has been qualified. And you continue trying to close through the entire contact. The examples you're about to see are based on actual case histories. Naturally, the demonstration, the most important step in the sale, has already been given. The prospect is in the closing room, the only place aside from his home where this discussion should take place. And you might note that these methods emphasize showing them, showing by comparison what the prospects get for the dollar difference, showing that they get what they want in Pontiac. First, let's consider how to close the prospect who wants to delay things. One type of procrastinator is the man who thinks he'll wait because prices are too high right now.
Maybe I'll wait till next year. Prices are awfully high. I remember when I only paid about half that much for a car.
Yes, prices may seem high, but on the other hand, most other things have gone up even more. Probably your own salary's a good deal more than it was.
Well, yes.
And you're getting a heck of a lot more today in a Pontiac than a few years back. Features you don't find in your present car. That's worth something, isn't it?
Oh, sure.
You're wise to weigh these things carefully, especially with a family. Oh, and speaking of the family, it won't be long before the youngsters have grown up. And wouldn't the comfort and pleasure of a new Pontiac be mighty welcome to Mrs. Smith and the rest of the family right now?
Yes, I guess it would.
It's yours for only your present car and $80 a month. And it's good economy to buy a Pontiac now. Taking the high resale value into consideration, the cost of owning a new Pontiac is actually less per month than most other cars.
We saw how a salesman can meet an objection by steering the interview in such a way that he gets yes answers and a chance to move in and close. Then there's the prospect who simply says he wants time to make up his mind. Notice how the salesman, with suggestions, forces a decision to act now.
Is there anything I haven't made clear, Mr. Wilkins?
I don't think so. I'll think it over.
I can see why you'd like to take a little time to consider. I'm just wondering if there's anything you need to know you don't already know.
I guess not.
How about Mrs. Wilkins? Wouldn't she like a demonstration ride today? Then she can help you make a decision.
Oh, she's ridden in Pontiacs.
The fact is, Mr. Wilkins, we'd like very much to make a deal with you today. You see, we have an immediate buyer for your car.
It'd be a pretty good car for somebody.
Yeah, our appraiser seems to think so. You've certainly taken good care of it. And now, if you have the title with you, we'd be glad to let you have a demonstrator to use until we can meet tomorrow and close the deal.
As in that example, sometimes it looks as if you're just not getting anywhere. But if one point doesn't work, don't give up. Another often will. Here's a different kind of prospect, the Shrewd Trader. He will make a deal only if he thinks he's taken all the dealer's profit. However, recognizing the type, our salesman has deliberately quoted a low allowance.
won't do business on that basis. I think I can do better down the street.
I would sure like to make a deal. Let's see if we can't do a little better. How's this? $12.50 in your car.
Oh, $1,250. That's a little nearer to it.
Now, for that $12.50, you'll have just about the best-looking car in town.
Well, I'll think it over and let you know about it.
By the way, I'd like you to meet our sales manager while you're here. Mr. Barnes. Sneed, this is Mr. Barnes, our sales manager.
Glad to know you.
This is the deal I've been suggesting to Mr. Sneed. He sure knows how to make his figure close.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'd like to have you as our customer, Mr. Sneed. Oh, by the way, Bill, if Mr. Sneed closes today, let's fix him up with something extra on his new Pontiac, huh?
Sure thing.
In planning his selling strategy to meet this situation, our salesman arranged for the sales manager's entrance and for the offering of an extra, such as an accessory. Sometimes that can be the turning point in a sale with a tough customer. The Shrewd Trader has a cousin, the man who says he's had a better offer.
Well, did you get this other offer in writing?
I sure did.
You mind if I compare it with our offer?
Here, take a look.
Mm-hmm. White walls, courtesy lights.
Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be. Oh, wait a minute, they don't include power steering.
Huh? Let me see. I thought he figured that in.
So if they put the power steering on, it'll cost you about $1,600 in your car, $100 more. So you see, Mr. Appleby, our offer's considerably better when you check what you get for the dollar difference between your present car and the new Pontiac. I know you want to get top value for your money.
I sure do.
Then you'll also be interested in the low depreciation rate of a Pontiac. To show you what I mean. Here. I'll call up a used car dealer here. Anyone you like. Ask him for the price on a 2-year-old Pontiac as compared to the other make car you were considering.
Any dealer, you say?
You pick one out.
Never mind. I'll take your word for it.
In that example, the salesman pinned down the prospect on his better offer. Frequently, this kind of specific analysis reveals excessive packing in the competitive offer and enables you to prove that the money difference between the two deals is actually in your favor. Now, here's another type of prospect who claims to have a better offer. His offer came from another Pontiac dealer.
I think I can get a better deal than yours over at that Pontiac dealer in Smithville.
They make you a definite offer?
Oh, sure, and about $100 better than yours, too.
Mm-hmm. Maybe so. But suppose we review what our offer includes.
All right.
Pontiac gate, 4-door, Hydra-Matic, radio heater, backup lights, and clock.
That's right.
And we quoted you $12.50 in your car. I don't see how you can beat that. Did you get their offer in writing?
Well, no.
Do you recall the name of the salesman you talked with?
Well, I just stopped by, asked him how much they'd allow me on the same kind of new Pontiac. Fella said about $11.50 in my car.
Well, that was just a rough estimate, Mr. Fowler. I'm sure if you got a firm appraisal and a deal based on exactly the same new Pontiac with the same equipment we talked about, you couldn't beat our offer. Oh, and there's something else. You're located near here, aren't you?
Well, I work nearby.
Mm-hmm. Then you'd find our service facilities mighty convenient. We'd like you to consider this dealership your automobile home. We're proud of our hundreds of happy customers, and I know that you'd find the attention and good service here very, very much to your liking.
Sometimes the better offer mentioned by a prospect is only an estimate or a lure to get the prospect to return. Smoke this out to convince him yours is a fair offer. We have looked at closing situations with 5 kinds of prospects. and have seen that there are several ways of handling them, all aimed at closing the sale. The closing methods used in these situations boil down to about this. Ask questions to find out what they want in a car. Show them that you have what they want. Demonstrate Pontiac's high resale value, performance, appearance, economy. Point out the advantages of your dealership, and show them what they get for their money. Compare offers, item by item. Use the 3 Ds to find the dollar difference. When you do this, you prove you're giving top value, and value is what they want. Show them to close them.
How does America make its choice in automobiles? How can the same automobile appeal to different people in so many ways? For example, what particular value most interests you in Pontiac for 1955? What do you most hope to see in our showroom and on this motion picture screen? Do you, like some people, care most about how your new car will look? Or are you most interested in mechanical features? Some people want comfort more than any other quality. Others demand long life and economy in the automobile they buy. Some feel that the greatest need is for safety. And many people value top performance as the biggest single reason for choosing their new car. Where do you sit in this picture? Why do you want to know more about Pontiac? Will you help us discover the real reasons behind your choice of a new automobile? Is it sheer beauty, breathlessly new styling you want? Then behold, the long, clean lines, the lines that are fleet and flowing, the lines and curves and masses that spell glamorous beauty. See how the new low silhouette sweeps up from the low, low hood for a sports car flair combined with a family car spaciousness. Look to see how the massive curves of the bumpers and the grille, the sweep lines of the fenders, the broad expanse of hood, the flat cruiser-like deck of the trunk merge into the master strokes of the overall design that combines art and functional convenience without compromising either. Sleek hood, graceful fenders, fleet body, jet-styled grille, sparkling trim. These form a picture of beauty that is alive and vibrant. If it takes distinctive appearance, dramatic good looks to please your eye and gladden your heart, you'll find it throughout this completely new body by Fisher, in rich, tasteful fabrics, in fitting colors, in clean, modern design, and jewel-like accessories. Here is a car that is well displayed in any setting of glamour, but perhaps you feel that nature is a better showcase for beauty like this. Motion is its element, and against the ever-changing backgrounds fashioned by nature, this car's sleek and graceful length, its low, road-hugging look, make it seem to flow like quicksilver over the road. From every angle as you watch, you'll see some new line, some new curve or highlight you hadn't noticed before. Yes, if you choose for beauty, Pontiac brings you beauty that is completely new and satisfying. But what about the many people who find beauty in the precision of fine machinery? Perhaps you are mechanically minded. You want to see why Pontiac's advanced engineering represents more new achievements, more new features, more innovations, more exclusive firsts than any other single model of any nationally distributed automobile. You will understand why the new rear suspension, with its more broadly spaced springs running parallel to the body, cuts down body roll and side sway on curves and makes for a better, steadier ride. Because naturally, the wider the stance, the firmer the footing. You will see how Pontiac's new front suspension, with its new vertical kingpin results in easier steering, better control, easier parking, and less tire wear. The new larger front brakes with increased drum diameter and longer linings to give almost 10% more triple-sealed braking service. There's something that will make safety sense to people who understand mechanical principles. So too will Pontiac's new recirculating ball steering mechanism, which reduces steering effort to a new low level because it reduces friction to a minimum. Nothing rolls as easily as a ball. You who know and love automobile engines will appreciate the brilliant engineering of Pontiac's dynamic overhead valve Stratostreak V8 power plant, the engine that has been under development for 8 years with more than 3 million miles of test driving. The minute you see it, you'll know that this ultra-responsive, ultra-efficient, ultra-powered 180 horsepower engine represents a new kind of engineering perfection. Available with Hydra-Matic drive, this V8 engine embodies all the advantages, all the design advances that only now are possible with the modern fuels. Your expert eye notes the completely machined combustion chamber, the special quench area over the piston that prevents spark ping, the short, rigid, compact crankshaft, and the harmonic balancer introduced by Pontiac. To you, Pontiac pioneered quad gallery lubrication, and the ideal flow pressure suction crankcase ventilation will be obvious guarantees of longer life and less maintenance. Just as the ball pivot rocker arms, tapered valve guides, completely cooled valves will promise dividends in continued top performance and quiet operation. Yes, item by item, feature by feature, development after new development will prove to you why Pontiac for 1955 is an engineering achievement that is completely new without sacrificing the fundamental values that Pontiac has introduced through the years. Almost everyone is interested in comfort in your automobile. And where else than in Pontiac can you find so much interior space, so correctly used to make you comfortable? Width where you want it, length where it counts, plenty of headroom. And comfort lovers can truly relax when they settle down in the luxury of rich fabrics and textiles combined with scientifically restful support. And you'll stay relaxed because of the new springing, the new distribution of weight, because the whole car is closer to the road with a lower center of gravity, because with the new tubeless tires you ride on the same soft cushion of air regardless of driving speed, because nothing has been overlooked to give you a straight and level ride no matter what the road. Yes, Pontiac in 1955 will open your eyes to a new world of comfort, unmatched in cars that cost far more. Then, too, safety is vitally important. Who doesn't want to make sure that their choice in motor cars is the safest that can be built? Pontiac safety builds with solid construction, a strong body carried on a sturdy frame. And safety means being able to see where you're going through unobstructed vistas of safety plate glass all around, from panoramic windshield to wraparound rear window. It's important to have a car that obeys your will, that steps out when you want it to, that seems to know where you want it to go, that makes you feel deft and certain in command. It's also important to know that the air in the car you drive is cleaner, purer, because it's drawn in at the top of the hood near the windshield, protected from road dust and exhaust gases of other cars. Snug and secure and protected, you get where you're going safely because you drive better when your mind is at ease. Yes, everyone wants to be sure that the car they buy is the safest they can buy. But suppose you also need to know that the car you buy is built to last, that it will give you the utmost in long life and economy. Suppose you could know Pontiac as the engineers who test it at the General Motors Proving Ground know it. Watch it come through countless hours and days and nights and months of relentless driving torture with flying colors. Through scientific tests and measurements, you could prove Pontiac's unparalleled new economy in gas and oil. The eyes and ears of sensitive instruments would tell you how hidden parts are doing their jobs, mile in and mile out, under conditions that are really rugged. Suppose you yourself were to see how the design and materials of every part are checked and rechecked under the severest possible test conditions to make sure that the car you buy will have lasting stamina and built-in durability. Then you too would be sure that Pontiac, no matter how tough the conditions, will keep on doing its job better and longer. And as always with Pontiac, you'll know that this newest car will stay new longer, will hold its value year after year. To most car buyers, top performance means a lot. Perhaps that's just what you too have been waiting to hear about. And top performance is something you can get only in a big engine. With 287 cubic inch displacement, Pontiac puts you in charge of 180 horsepower. And that's important for you to know that this is actual, honest, available horsepower. 180 horsepower ready and awaiting your touch for unbelievable getaway and acceleration. Eagerly responsive when you ask for power to pass. Throughout the driving range, the kind of solid horsepower that shortens the distance between any 2 points and flattens out all the hills. You'll know what it is to have all the power you'll need, all you can ever use, and with plenty to spare. But along with power, you like control and ease of handling. So you'll be pleased to know that the new Pontiac is a brilliant road car, that it takes curves and corners with gay and casual assurances, that it knows when and how to stop. So if you, like lots of drivers, give top priority to power and handling ability, you too would choose Pontiac for 1955. It's easy to see that with so many different reasons why people choose Pontiac, you still might not be able to tell us which is the most important to you. Perhaps a ride in Pontiac will help you discover that vital reason behind your choice. See how easily it starts, how quietly it goes into motion. Feel how effortlessly it picks up speed. Even with its high spirits held in check, what a pleasure it is to ride in this roomy, comfortable car. How secure and glued to the road safe you feel on curves with the stability of Pontiac's broadly based low center of gravity. There's no pitching or swaying to disturb your complete relaxation. And even though you're sitting in that right-hand seat, you can't help but feel the thrilling surge of power at the driver's command. Yes, your first ride in a new Pontiac will bring you an entirely new interpretation of what a fine car offers in terms of passenger comfort. But what about driving it? It's about time for you to see for yourself, feel for yourself, to get behind the steering wheel and know for yourself what new sensations of power and ease of handling this car brings to motoring. The road is clear ahead, and there's no one behind. So, step on it. Now you know what superpowered takeoff acceleration really is. There's a steep hill ahead. See what happens when you just slow down and dawdle up to the foot of it. Now apply the power. Feel that climb, picking up speed all the way, and that Stratostreak engine is just barely flexing its muscles. On this rough stretch of winding gravel road, you'll find out a lot of things you never knew before about steering response and built-in road sense, about the most perfect combination of all driving ease factors ever put together in Pontiac or any car in its price class. But that isn't all. Think of all the optional features offered by Pontiac to make driving a richer and even more rewarding experience. Pontiac's dual-range Hydra-Matic Transmission is smoother than ever, more flexible than ever, and gear ratios have been improved to take advantage of the new 180 horsepower engine. With power steering revised and improved, you'll find it almost seems to read your mind, to steer like an extension of your fingertips. Want to stop, sure and certain, but the lazy way? Just slide your foot over and let Pontiac's new and improved power brake do the work. There are so many things to look for when you're making one of the most important investments in day-to-day living. because so many things may seem equally desirable to you, such as Pontiac's Comfort Control seat, which provides 360 seating positions. It is sometimes difficult to decide which of all is the most important to your happiness. But wait a minute. Surely this is the real answer. Your real reason for buying a car is to give your family the fullest measure of all the things you want them to have. And with Pontiac, every comfort, every convenience, every luxury, every ounce of enjoyment that a motor car can offer is yours to give and yours to have. Yes, whatever you may be looking for in a fine automobile, Pontiac for 1955 fulfills all the reasons behind your choice. And that is why we, as your Pontiac dealer, proudly present the car that is new from ground up. Pontiac, the car that will be America's new choice.
Proving Pontiac's enduring performance means making sure that its supreme power, handling ability, comfort, and safety are built in to stay, no matter how long or how far you drive your car. At General Motors' 3,800-acre proving ground near Milford, Michigan, Pontiac's own engineering specialists make sure that your Pontiac will have the extra margin of ruggedness and stamina that is the hallmark of Pontiac's reputation. Let's see for ourselves how proving ground testing proves every part, every design feature that goes into Pontiac's supreme performance. Pontiac's Stratostreak V8 engine is worthy of Pontiac's reputation the world over for dependability. Running wide open on a test stand, each hour of this engine's life is more grueling than days or even weeks of normal driving. Pontiac's short stroke, rigid design, perfect balance, and superior lubrication means added thousands of miles of top engine efficiency. The engine in this car is working against a scientifically applied load to test its ability to deliver full power continuously. Days of working under full load with the engine at the absolute peak of operation show the outstanding values of Pontiac's completely machined combustion chamber, pressure suction crankcase ventilation, and reverse flow gusher valve cooling. To make sure that frame and body are both rigid and rugged, this shaking device applies twisting, vibrating shocks and strains. The spectacular cold room test proves tightness of body construction, as well as makes sure the engine will be reliable in the worst weather. Pontiac's brakes are tested on a start, stop, start, stop basis, day in and day out, to make sure that drums and linings have the extra margin for safety and will keep their operating efficiency for years of traffic or mountain driving. General Motors Proving Grounds Belgian Block Road has beaten many a motor car to death. But Pontiac's extra margin, combined with its superb springing and weight distribution, takes even this brutal punishment in its stride. At a special mountain and desert proving area, the ultimate stamina and endurance of Pontiac are proved under extreme conditions of road, altitude, heat, and dust. Expert drivers put the test cars through punishment that the average car would never face in a lifetime of normal driving. This looks like a demonstration of Pontiac's superb handling ability, but its purpose is to make sure that steering mechanisms and wheel suspension units will stand up under abuse. This might be a demonstration of tremendous power effectively delivered, Actually, it's a test of engine cooling under heavy load and desert heat. What seems to be proof of Pontiac's cat-like sure-footedness over ground that the average driver would never consider as a roadway is primarily intended as an endurance test for shock absorbers, springs, and rear axle. What you see is Pontiac's road-hugging stability and response to the driver's control at higher than average speed. What the engineer sees is the answer to the question of how long moving parts will last under punishment. On roads like this, every turn of the wheels is added proof that Pontiac is designed and built to give you enduring performance. To make sure that no possible factor of traffic, climate, or type of road is overlooked, Pontiac's driving laboratories include all of America. Pontiac cross-country test drivers check performance, economy, and durability under everyday conditions with stop-and-go driving in city traffic and long days of cruising on the open road. The testing specialists know that in bitter, icy cold, Pontiac's ignition and fuel systems are designed with the extra margin that gives top performance. In tropic heat, they know the cooling system has the reserve capacity to protect life and performance of engine parts. In the mountains of the east and the mountains of the west, Pontiac's stamina has been tested and retested so that you may drive more miles in comfort and safety. Pontiac is one of the world's most thoroughly engineered and tested motor cars. Engineered to give you supreme comfort and safety with tremendous power and amazing handling ability. Tested night and day so you can have confidence. And most important of all, Pontiac's enduring performance has been proved and approved through the years by millions of Pontiac owners, as you, by driving Pontiac, can prove to yourself.
Pontiac's supreme handling performance brings you an experience so different as almost to be a new way of driving. What is handling performance? It's effortless steering in traffic or on the open road. It's a cushioned, level ride on any kind of road. It's smooth, positive braking under complete control. Although every Pontiac feature is designed to contribute to supreme handling performance, we naturally look to the chassis for those features that mean most to its amazing ability on the road. Pontiac's new recirculating ball steering gear. The true arc steering with its symmetrically balanced linkage and uniform motion. And Pontiac's new front suspension with vertical kingpins produce steering that ignores road conditions, yet responds to the driver's lightest touch. With parallel rear springs and diagonally mounted rear shock absorber levelators, there is a broader base for stability and a softer, level ride. Other important factors in Pontiac stability are the ideal weight distribution, the low body line, and the low center of gravity. The finest hydraulic brakes with self-energizing action and complete weather seal are exceptionally smooth and powerful. Because the working parts of the chassis are normally hidden under the body, few of us ever think of how they do their jobs. Let's see for ourselves on this chassis, equipped with engine, a driver's seat, and heavy bars of metal to bring it up to normal road weight. Now we can really see what goes on underneath the floor carpets. Even in parking and unparking, you never have to fight the steering wheel. Pontiac's unique front suspension and steering assembly gives you more results with less effort. Your Pontiac seems to know its way in traffic. It obeys your driving sense, takes its signals from the very tips of your fingers on the steering wheel.
On car tracks, or even in deep ruts, you are always in control. Shocks and twisting forces on the front wheels can't find their way back to your hands on the wheel. On the open road, Pontiac's supreme handling performance comes into a new dimension of driving pleasure. On gentle curves, steering is so imperceptible that it seems almost automatic. On sharp curves and corners, Pontiac behaves with a businesslike assurance that gives you confidence to relax at the wheel. Only Pontiac combines the finest front wheel suspension with true arc safety steering to keep the wheels always pointing in the same direction as they move up and down independently. All factors of weight, balance, and springing result in outstanding ride. Here you can see how Pontiac's spring steel front stabilizer bar puts both front coil springs to work for a minimum of side sway and rolling on curves. The parallel rear springs work with the diagonally mounted hydraulic cushion shock absorbers and levelators to maintain the smoothest possible ride, level all the time. Masterful braking is an integral part of Pontiac's supreme handling performance. In this demonstration, two cars, identical except for color, are going to drive abreast at the same speed. At a signal, the driver of this car will apply his brakes for a normal quick stop. On the same signal, the driver of this car will try to stop in the shortest possible distance for a full emergency stop. Ready? Go. 50 miles an hour. Here comes the signal. There is the emergency stop, and there is the normal stop. Let's check the distance. 95 feet for the smooth, cushioned, yet positive stop, well within standard stopping distance for that speed. And for the full emergency stop, only 53 feet. A difference of more than 42 feet as proof of Pontiac's extra margin of safety. Yes, in every model of every series, Pontiac gives you supreme handling performance. Pontiac gives you supreme steering, the sense of effortless control that comes from perfect response and rock-steady stability. Pontiac gives you supreme ride, the perfect balance of weight and springing. Pontiac gives you supreme braking, smooth and cushioned for normal stops, with a margin to protect you in emergencies. And only by getting behind the wheel yourself can you know what it means to have these outstanding performance advantages all in one car that steps lightly but stands firmly on any road.
Pontiac's supreme performance under extreme conditions makes it America's most dependable, versatile, and exciting automobile. Even with our wonderful highway systems, many of us do a lot of driving on roads like this. And most of us use our cars every day of the year. We need to know that regardless of the weather, we'll get where we're going safely and comfortably. For the supreme performance to take you day in and day out where other cars can't go, Pontiac is ruggedly built on the most rugged frame. The springs and shock absorbers, the front stabilizer bar and wheel suspension turn country roads and detours into highways. The steering is designed for delicately sensitive response to the driver's touch. Yet it stubbornly refuses to transmit road shock and vibration from the front wheel back to the steering wheel. Low body lines and low center of gravity with ideal weight distribution produce a firm stance for stability on any road.
The supreme power of Pontiac's Stratostreak V8 engine with its tremendous piston displacement and high compression ratio, get-going fuel distribution, and ignition systems gives level highway performance where the going is toughest. Pontiac's new dual-range Hydra-Matic drive gives miraculously precise control of engine power delivered to the wheels for starting, accelerating, or the long pull, just as Pontiac's great hydraulic brakes make you master of speed and momentum. No matter where you drive, no matter how rugged the roads or the weather, Pontiac's performance is supreme in the most extreme conditions. Pontiac's power team of engine and Hydra-Matic drive levels out the grades, flattens the steepest climbs. The superb balance and steering make the curves and even the hairpin turns seem easy. And always guarding your safety, Pontiac's reserve capacity brakes keep speed and weight under perfect control, plus instantly available engine braking in either traffic or low driving range. Pontiac seems to build its own smooth highway wherever it goes, on the worst roads, and even where there are no roads at all. It irons out the bumps and the ruts by the magic of its road performance. Pontiac's huge reserve of power can be flicked smoothly from forward to reverse and back again to put both power and momentum to work, to get out and to keep going. Anyone who knows mud at its worst will recognize this. Mud ankle deep in the high spots and knee deep in the puddles. No ordinary car could make any progress through this muck and mire. And to make matters worse, this driver is stopping in the deepest puddle. But the driver knows what he's doing. He knows from experience that Pontiac has the right combination of power, traction, and control for unequaled ability in any situation, no matter how extreme. Anyone who lives in a wintry climate knows what it's like to find his car parked in a snowdrift, a situation that usually means calling for help. But getting out of a spot like this without help is an experience reserved for the Pontiac driver. With instant engine response and Hydra-Matic selective power control, he can apply precisely the right amount of power at exactly the right time to get the traction he needs. On a slippery, smooth surface, even normal driving is a critical test of traction control and driving response. Here, for an extreme test, is a double load. With Hydra-Matic in low, the car is in second gear for smooth, gradual application of power to the rear wheels. Just the right amount of power to turn them without losing traction. Yes, with double the load, Pontiac's supreme performance outmatches other cars for double the driving pleasure and double everyday use and value. Like no other car today, Pontiac gives you supreme performance under the most extreme conditions.
Pontiac's supreme power performance is the outstanding example of what an automobile can do for you when you step down on the gas pedal. What is power performance? For flashing getaway, it's a tremendous surge of power. For brilliant passing, it's power in reserve and instantly available. For mountain grades and steep hills, it's sheer brute force. For swift, comfortable cruising, it's a wide margin of unused power for smoothness and stamina. The big reason for Pontiac's supreme power performance is the Stratostreak V8 engine. The big reason because there's no substitute for engine size when it comes to delivering all the power you can use with a big margin in reserve. 287 cubic inches piston displacement and 8-to-1 compression ratio, made possible by engineering's finest combustion chamber design. Outstandingly efficient carburation and fuel flow, combined with the finest valve operating system ever devised and high-performance 12-volt ignition, give this engine power flexibility
that's absolutely unequaled at anywhere near its price. Dual-range Hydra-Matic Transmission automatically delivers power to the rear wheels at precisely the right engine speeds to match power requirements. With 180 actual horsepower, Pontiac's power performance is supreme in every way that performance can be demonstrated. What about getaway? That's part of the thrill of driving a Pontiac. Let's watch again with a special timing camera to help point up the amazing flow of power that puts Pontiac out front. Here's the start. First second, 9 miles per hour, picking up speed at a rate jet pilots call 1/2 G acceleration. 2 seconds, 17 miles per hour, acceleration you can feel. 3 seconds, 25 miles per hour, with about 25 pounds per second of engine power pushing every pound of automobile weight. 4 seconds, 30 miles per hour. And in 5 seconds, over 35 miles per hour. About all you want for most city driving, with about 3/4 of the engine horsepower still in reserve. What about passing? This truck, traveling at 40 miles per hour, will soon meet another truck traveling at the same speed in the opposite direction. When the trucks are 1,500 feet apart, let's see the distance required for our camera car to pass the truck in the right-hand lane. There's the 1,500-foot mark. Back into our own lane again with the barest margin of safety. But that's the kind of chance that only stuntmen like to take. And now let's try it with Pontiac's seemingly inexhaustible reserve of power. Let's stop the action. Pontiac's tremendous power margin gives you the safety margin you want, with plenty of distance to spare. When steep hills and long mountain grades are the test of rugged, relentless power, what does Pontiac's big engine performance do for you? On this 26% grade, when you press down on the gas pedal, every single pound of body, chassis, and engine weight has the benefit of 28 foot-pounds of engine force working on it each second. More than ample power to start you on the steepest grade and to take you to the top of the longest hill. And finally, what about cruising? Even at higher than average driving speeds, the reserve capacity of Pontiac's power plant pays big dividends in safety, economy, and driving pleasure. With so much capability to spare, the engine never works to the limit of its endurance. This tachometer proves engine revolutions are reduced by over 1/3 when automatic fourth gear is reached in cruising range. You have seen Pontiac's supreme power performance demonstrated, but you can fully realize all it can give you in supreme getaway, the greater safety of supreme passing performance, the satisfaction of its supreme hill performance, the pleasure you'll get from its supreme cruising performance. All these you fully realize when you drive Pontiac yourself.
America is seeing for itself the brilliant new Stratostreak Pontiac from 1956, the finest car that Pontiac has ever built. People are admiring its supreme new styling and distinctive beauty, talking about its blazing new power and flashing performance, discussing its unparalleled handling ease and luxurious new ride. Yes, Americans everywhere are thinking how it will be to own and drive one of these wonderful new Pontiacs this year. And when it comes to owning automobiles, here's something that maybe you haven't thought about. We Americans are the most experienced automobile owners in the world. We ought to be. We have bought and owned more automobiles than all the rest of the world together, almost 3 times as many.
this should make us the world's most highly informed experts on automobile values, especially when it comes to choosing an automobile for ourselves and our families. Most American men have a pretty thorough understanding of what it takes in an automobile to give them power, performance, and efficient long life. And these days, most American women are well qualified on the subjects of motoring safety, comfort, and ease of handling. So when we point out some of Stratostreak Pontiac's major engineering advances for 1956, we can be pretty sure we're not talking over anyone's head. In fact, as an expert motor car owner and buyer, you can see for yourself just why Pontiac this year is a step ahead in every value. Suppose we start with performance. This year, the magnificent Stratostreak V8 engine, with a tremendous increase in horsepower, brings even more flexibility and response to every driving need. To help you see for yourself what massive power performance means in terms of getaway and acceleration, this test camera mounted on the front of a new Pontiac shows that the road ahead is marked by wide stripes, spaced exactly 1 car length apart. The test is also arranged so that a musical note sounds each time a stripe is crossed. Ready? Look and listen as we pick up speed in a full power takeoff. And there you have eye and ear proof of Pontiac's singing power for lightning getaway. Now, to get an impression of Pontiac's extra power for whirlwind acceleration in passing, let's use the two-way test again. Each musical tone shows that we have traveled 1 car's length. A deeper tone sounds each time this truck passes one of the stripes on the pavement. And now see and hear how the blazing power of Pontiac's new Stratostreak engine carries a wide margin for acceleration and passing. And on the open road, too, you can see what more power means to your car's performance. Added power for the straightaway, extra power for the hills, a wide margin of power for every demand. In Stratostreak Pontiac this year, power is the keynote. A bigger engine with more horsepower, more performance, economy, and durability features than any other engine of its type and class. The magnificent new power plant continues the Stratostreak V8 features and advantages that last year made engineering history. It embodies engineering advances that have been owner-tested for billions of miles. Pontiac first features such as pressure suction crankcase ventilation, reverse flow gusher valve cooling, and quad gallery full pressure lubrication. The famous ball pivot valve train pioneered by Pontiac has been redesigned for the needs of this bigger, more powerful engine. The block has been made stronger, more rigid in keeping with the higher power output. Improved manifolding and improved carburation on all models, with a 4-barrel carburetor standard in the Star Chief series, but available for all models, mean quicker response and more efficient use of fuel. And on top of all these outstanding advantages, this new Stratostreak has been given super performance through increased displacement for greater capacity and a smaller combustion chamber for a higher compression ratio. With Pontiac, you can see for yourself what it means to have all the power you can ever use in normal driving. Pontiac's famed dual-range Hydra-Matic drive is familiar to almost every American driver. Now, Pontiac introduces something even finer, completely new Stratified Hydra-Matic with controlled coupling. This biggest advance in automatic driving uses an additional fluid clutch, which makes automatic gear shifting almost imperceptible. Again, to get the full picture, this car has a Synchromesh transmission with a clutch pedal and manual gear shift lever. Notice there are surges of power even when a professional driver changes gears. This traced line shows the abrupt surges of driving force being delivered to the rear wheels, surges that can be felt. Notice what happens as the driver downshifts from third to second. Again, peaks and valleys of power. Now see how the present Hydra-Matic system, known to millions of motorists, levels out most of the peaks and valleys. Again, the driver will downshift for a burst of passing power. A comparison of the traced lines shows what millions of Pontiac owners have found out for themselves. that Hydra-Matic driving is smoother, more effortless driving. But now for the ultimate, Pontiac's new Stratified Hydra-Matic. You can see for yourself how, with this completely automatic transmission, gear changes are almost imperceptible. And in downshifting, too, shocks and power surges have been practically eliminated. Yes, you can see for yourself that by taking the stair steps out of gear shifting, Pontiac has taken another great step ahead. On this new automatic transmission, Pontiac adds to the neutral position the big added safety advantage of park position. In park, the car is safely locked against rolling, and on hills, the engine can be started without losing this advantage. For quick response in traffic or cruising on the open highway, Pontiac's famed dual-range driving control is again a feature of this finest in automatic transmissions. What about Pontiac's new ride? As an expert owner and driver, you have found that the ideal ride needs to consider different road conditions. On rough streets and in spite of bumps and broken pavement, you want soft, luxurious riding comfort. This means having the softest possible spring suspension. Yet at higher speeds, on all kinds of roads, you want your car under perfect control. This means that spring action must be carefully controlled to hold bounce and side sway to a minimum. On this rough stretch of ground, see for yourself how Pontiac has now attained the ideal combination of soft ride with complete control. Watch the wheel do all the bouncing. With soft, easy springing, the wheels are free to move up and down without passing the jars and shocks onto the driver or passengers. The body seems to float in cushioned luxury, regardless of bumps or road conditions. Put them together, bouncing wheels and cushioned passengers, and you have a true picture of Pontiac's road leveling ride. Even with side winds or rough roads, Pontiac's Strato-Streak ride is straight and true as a bullet down a rifle barrel, because every movement of the springs is precisely controlled by Pontiac's perfected shock absorber system. Yes, you can see for yourself that Pontiac, with its low center of gravity, its wide stance on the road, its perfect weight distribution, offers motor-minded America the best combination of easy handling and luxurious ride. Power-packed performance, effortless handling, luxurious driving. These are the qualities and values that everyone can see for himself in Pontiac. But Pontiac in 1956 offers far more to the American car buyer who looks for every feature that can contribute to his driving and riding pleasure. To these expert owners, Pontiac introduces power steering of entirely new design with improved performance and reliability. Now steering is more responsive for better control on straightaways and curves. A new feature gives the driver the feel of the road at all times without shocks or jars. Under the most difficult turning conditions, when the car is standing still, steering effort has been reduced 1/3 from previous power steering systems. And power braking again proves its value to Pontiac owners, giving the driver mastery over the full power of Pontiac's bigger, more dependable hydraulic brakes. For the owner who wants the best of everything that the finest cars can offer, Pontiac's famous comfort control seat is now also power-operated for fingertip adjustment, forward or back, up or down, or to the most comfortable degree of tilt. For those who want control of every feature at their fingertips, who want the advantage of every improvement, the magic of signal-seeking radio is now available. At the touch of a fingertip, Pontiac's deluxe electromatic radio seeks out the program you want to add to your driving pleasure and to add to your safety, too, because you can tune without taking your eyes off the road. Yes, the expert American owner-driver finds in Pontiac all the features, all the advantages, all the quality and value that can be built into a car at a price that fits his way of living. Because motor-conscious America is so style-conscious, Pontiac presents this year more choices than ever before of glamorous interior trim combinations to match the panorama of exterior color stylings, interiors fashioned to please the most discriminating eye. Here you see for yourself what the richness of genuine leather, available in distinctive color combinations, contributes to interior luxury. Colorful coated fabrics and sidewall upholstery treated with gleaming metallic cloth set off new lustrous decorator trim in beauty that will endure. In many interiors, rich cloth sets the keynote with a wide choice of color combinations. In others, glamorous yet durable Morocco combines high styling with topmost practicality. New styling, new color treatment of the instrument panel set the pattern for a brighter interior, a pattern tastefully reflected in the silversmith handling of hardware and appointments. As you've already noticed, Pontiac's exterior styling stands without comparison. Every line and every detail has been studied to please you, the real judge of beauty. Here are the bold, dramatic lines that you have asked for, the low, wide look, the graceful, flowing lines, the sleek elegance. In every model of every line, you will find the hallmark of the artist's and the designer's skill in the inspired styling so traditionally a symbol of Pontiac leadership. Because of this leadership, more and more, the best informed, most experienced, most expert motor car owners and buyers in the world are finding the values they want in Pontiac. And more than ever before, Stratostreak Pontiac this year justifies its reputation for giving you value in fullest measure. Yes, you can see for yourself and find for yourself all the things you want in this finest car that Pontiac has ever built.
You are about to see an actual demonstration of the 1956 Pontiac performing under conditions practically impossible to duplicate during the usual demonstration situation. This demonstration will show some important facts about Pontiac's superior power performance. Power at a toe touch. For getaway. Power at a toe touch. For passing. Power at a toe touch. For hill climbing. For smooth, luxurious traveling. The assurance of power whenever you need it. That's what Pontiac in 1956 gives you. Primarily, Pontiac's power story is one of an engine, a big V8 engine. The new 1956 Stratostreak, the biggest and most powerful engine in Pontiac's history. 316.6 cubic inches of displacement. An 8.9 to 1 compression ratio, bigger and packed with more usable horsepower than any engine in its field. Efficient and economical, too, with such new developments as this larger intake manifold to make certain every bit of fuel is properly burned. A higher lift camshaft to draw in a bigger charge of power. And this new 4-barrel carburetor, for all practical purposes, 2 exceptionally efficient carburetors in one unit. And these 1956 Pontiac developments are responsible for the superior power performance only Pontiac can give you, especially when teamed with the smooth, quick-acting, all-new Stratified Hydra-Matic, the automatic transmission with 2 fluid couplings instead of the usual 1, and 2 overrunning clutches. Not only are gear changes practically imperceptible in this new unit, but just a flick of the toe with Pontiac's quick throttle downshift and the most powerful burst of speed imaginable is yours for just a flick of the toe. For passing, power that guarantees safety.
Now, let's take a look at some demonstrations of this Pontiac power in action. First of all, getaway. On the signal, this Pontiac will take off from a dead stop and reach a speed of, well, let's see, in 10 seconds. Ready? There's the signal, and there it goes. In 10 seconds, from a dead stop to a speed of 60 miles per hour. And now, let's transmit this to distance traveled. Ready, go. "502 feet in 10 seconds, almost 1/10 of a mile. This car is going 55 miles per hour. It will drive past a parked 1956 Pontiac. From a dead stop, the Pontiac will catch up and pass it. Let's see how long it takes. Ready? There it goes, and there goes our Pontiac. 4 seconds, 8 seconds. We're pulling up to it, and we've passed it in 12 seconds. But a further test of Pontiac power. The freight car behind this locomotive weighs 47,400 pounds. We replace the engine with a 1956 Pontiac. Then add 3 more freight cars, for a total of 4 freight cars weighing 189,600 pounds. There we go. £189,600 being pulled by the power car of the year, the 1956 Pontiac. Now, surely you're not going to go around pulling freight cars, or even passing or picking up distances at the rates you've just seen demonstrated. But when you're behind the wheel of the 1956 Pontiac, which can do all these things and more, you're driving with the assurance of safety. Your superior Pontiac power gives you a greater margin of it than ever before. Drive it yourself and see.
You are about to see a short presentation which explains some of the reasons for Pontiac's amazing power in 1956. The important facts of Pontiac's superior performance. Power with endurance. Staying power. Smooth, safe, and assured. And the big reasons behind it all are the magnificent Stratostreak engine for 1956 and the smoothest automatic transmission ever designed, the 1956 Stratified Hydra-Matic. Let's see just why this team performs as powerfully and as efficiently as it does. Starting with the engine, we find that the 1956 Stratostreak is a big engine designed to do a big job, with a displacement of 316.6 cubic inches and an 8.9 to 1 compression ratio, which when used with this new 4-barrel carburetor, produces an amazing 227 horsepower and 312 foot-pounds of torque, the energy that actually turns the wheels. For Pontiac's smooth, even, positive combustion, note the completely machined wedge-shaped combustion chamber. And all this available in every Pontiac. Also, such Pontiac features as aluminum-treated intake and exhaust valves provide maximum protection against pitting and burning, not only guaranteeing more efficient and economical use of fuel, but longer valve life as well. Durability. New, larger spark plugs with 12-volt electrical system and an entirely new starting motor completely enclosed with the solenoid in one single unit, dirt-free and moisture-proof. for starting and performing in all types of weather. This new high-lift camshaft raises valves higher and keeps them open longer, meaning less restriction and more efficient engine breathing, power, and long engine life. And of course, all these are added to such Pontiac-proved features as the harmonic balancer, now matched with another harmonic balancer in the transmission, providing the ultimate in smooth engine operation. And a new dual exhaust system for an additional 12.6 horsepower and 14 foot-pounds of torque. Here we see the Pontiac Stratostreak V8 suspended and in operation. As a further check of its operating smoothness, this pencil placed on top remains in an upright position. But to transfer this smooth, seemingly limitless power into usable motion that means more comfortable, easier, safer driving, it's Pontiac's new Stratified Hydra-Matic Transmission, the transmission which offers something completely new in velvety power application. To understand the Hydra-Matic principle, let's look at a diagram showing the engine, transmission, and rear wheels. The engine drives a section of the transmission called the fluid coupling. Through the fluid in the coupling, power flows smoothly to the transmission gears. With automatic selection of the right gear to suit engine speeds and driving conditions, the power is then transmitted to the rear wheels as needed for starting, accelerating, climbing hills, or steady speed. Millions of owners and billions upon billions of driving miles have proved the outstanding advantages of this combination of shock cushioning fluid couplings and positive acting gears, have proved that Hydra-Matic driving is smoother, more effortless driving. But even with this fine system, drivers and passengers sometimes felt slight surges in power as the transmission changed from one gear to another. Why? These Hydra-Matics depended on friction bands and clutches to control the starting and stopping of the gears. And even the most perfected friction devices may grab or slip enough to cause a surge in power. Seeking a higher degree of perfection, engineers found a way to eliminate even this slight departure from utter smoothness. They added a second fluid coupling for the sole purpose of selecting the gears. The amount of fluid in the coupling is automatically controlled according to power needs. So as the coupling fills or empties, the work of driving the wheels is imperceptibly shifted from one gear to the next. But let's see these two new Pontiac developments in action: the big Stratostreak engine and the Stratified transmission. See how smoothly the 1956 Pontiac starts and moves into traffic. Now watch how, even as we gain speed, accelerate quickly or slowly, there's no jump or momentary jerk as the power is transmitted to the rear wheels. Nor when we slow down for a stop is there any appreciable jerk. That's the Stratified transmission, easy and smooth with positive controlled engine braking action too. Power and smoothness for hill climbing, for getaway. And proof of this Stratified smoothness can be seen from this simple comparison. In a car with a manual shift such as this one, no matter how expert the driver is, gear changes from first to second to third still are jerky. With the standard Hydra-Matic, the gear changes were much smoother, but you still felt them. But with Pontiac's new 1956 Stratified transmission, practically a straight line. And here's a comparison of all three: manual, regular Hydra-Matic, and Pontiac's new 1956 Stratified. Yes, for passing, or for just plain, pleasant, safe driving. Try the new 1956 Pontiac for yourself. Take it out and see the important facts behind Pontiac's superior performance.
You are about to see an actual demonstration of the 1956 Pontiac. performing under conditions practically impossible to duplicate during the usual demonstration situation. This demonstration will show some important facts about Pontiac's superior performance under extreme conditions. Bad rutty roads, such as this. Inclement weather. Steep angle grades. We all run across one or another at some time during the year. No matter where we live, or whether we use our cars primarily for business or pleasure, we all like the security of knowing that day in and day out, 12 months a year, we're driving a car that can take it, that will perform consistently and safely under every driving condition. And Pontiac is built to do just this, especially when the going gets rough. On the roughest roads, Pontiac has the rugged I-beam X-member frame to withstand even the roughest jolts and jars. Steering, quick and sure to the touch. True arc steering with Pontiac's recirculating ball-type mechanism. The Hotchkiss power cushion drive, which cushions the driving torque of quick starts and power surges and helps prevent the rear tires from slipping on icy or wet pavements. The Pontiac front stabilizer bar and wheel suspension system for that sure level ride, especially on turns. And of course, Pontiac for 1956 has the Stratostreak V8 engine, the most powerful engine in Pontiac history, with a heavier, more rigid cylinder block. A dual exhaust system, which incidentally provides 12.6 more horsepower and 14 more foot-pounds of torque when used with a new 4-barrel carburetor and Pontiac's fabulous new Stratified Hydra-Matic Transmission, the big new vital General Motors automotive first, which gives unparalleled shifting smoothness for velvety, positive translation of power to performance. But now to see a few situations using these and all the other Pontiac features. Situations under extreme conditions, such as this steep grade in the Sierra Nevada range. This particular grade is 18%, which means that for every 100 horizontal feet, it climbs 18 vertical feet. Notice how easily this 1956 Pontiac takes it. Well, here you see a man-made grade of 27%. From a stop position, our Pontiac will climb to the top, then come down the grade. Slowly, slowly, watch that braking power. Now it's stopped on the grade, and this tow truck is going to try to pull it down the grade with its brakes locked. This scale will measure the number of pounds pull exerted in trying to move the Pontiac. Ready? There's the pull. 2,000 pounds. 2,500 pounds. 2,500 pounds. And still the Pontiac brakes hold on a 27% grade. As for deep snow, again watch the 56 Pontiac as it stops and, with easy rocking motion, starts up again. Desert country, so they say, is for horses. Well, here comes a team of 227 of them. Over dunes and ruts. And water. The 1956 Pontiac almost swims. And for those inaccessible places, the kind you used to have to hike or horseback to, well, just watch the way this Pontiac takes to the trail. And except for an occasional brush scratch, no damage to the Pontiac. That's rugged, safe construction. Yes, like no other car on the American road today, Pontiac for 1956 is designed to give truly superior performance under just about any driving situation. The car built to give top performance for years and years, even when the going gets rough. Pontiac for 1956. Drive it yourself and see.
You are about to see an actual demonstration of a 1956 Pontiac, performing under conditions practically impossible to duplicate during the usual demonstration situation. This demonstration will show some important facts about Pontiac's superior handling ease. Handling ease, that quality in an automobile which gives you a maximum of control with a minimum of effort. Steering easily, surely, safely. Braking quickly and with assurance. Stability, riding smoothly and evenly on every kind of road. A level, cushioned luxury ride. The smoothest ride on the American road, bar none. Of course, every part that goes into a 1956 Pontiac is designed and engineered to fulfill its special function. But primarily, handling ease is dependent upon the chassis and chassis features. For example, in the rear suspension system, Pontiac's owner-proved outrigger springs are mounted parallel and widely spaced and are provided with new full-length liners for maximum stability, smoothness, and quietness. These are the new improved shock absorbers. And this new press-fitted bushing and seal for Pontiac's vertical kingpin not only contribute to steering ease, but provide greater durability and safety. For exclusive true arc steering, found on every Pontiac, there's the recirculating ball-type steering gear with its symmetrically balanced linkage, light-touch, fast response steering. And standard, of course, on every Pontiac are these brakes, large and self-energizing for positive safe stops when you need them. And rubber mounts, which cushion the body for quiet, non-fatigue driving. But now let's take a look at some of these Pontiac handling features in action. For example, have you ever noticed the coordination, the balance, and the steering ease of a skier taking a high-speed slalom run? Well, this slalom run is constructed so that the flags are set 35 feet apart and situated so that an automobile must turn in and out at angles as great as 340 degrees. In other words, far sharper angles in less distance than would be encountered in even the most winding country. Now let's make the run in a 1956 Pontiac. All right, here it goes. And now let's see the way that looked to the driver. Hardly a jounce or roll in the ride. That's Pontiac's superior steering in 1956. Safe, positive braking is a key factor in the handling of any car. Now, the standard generally accepted stopping distance for an automobile traveling 50 miles per hour in most states is 242.5 feet. This Pontiac is traveling 50 miles per hour. At the signal, the driver will apply the brakes. And there's the stop, 76 feet, bettering the accepted stopping distance by 166.5 feet. Let's repeat the same run, only this time with the Pontiac traveling 60 miles an hour. And for an added bit of interest, an emergency stop situation. This barrier is only 120 feet from the point at which the braking signal will be given. All right, here he comes. A 109-foot emergency stop at 60 miles per hour. Real straight-line braking control without sway,
bettering the standard accepted 50-mile-an-hour stop by 133.5 feet. Proof of Pontiac's extra safety margin. As far as Pontiac's riding stability goes, regardless of the road, or in this case, frozen field conditions, inside the car, the jars and jolts are at a minimum. And to see proof of the amazingly smooth automatic gear changes only Pontiac Stratified transmissions can give, let's fill this glass with water. And now, out into traffic. The Stratified does the shifting for you, whether you're accelerating or slowing down or stopping. Not a drop spilled. Yes, for steering, for braking, for the smoothest ride imaginable, for all over superior handling ease, it's Pontiac for 1956. Try it yourself and see.
Terrytown, New York, once the home of Ichabod Crane and the stamping grounds of the legendary Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow, who, according to the legend, made his ghostly rides across a bridge in the black of night. The Headless Horseman, that mysterious, terrifying character created by Washington Irving, beloved American author and humorist, who lived in this house, here in lovely Terrytown. Nowadays, however, Terrytown is also the site of this sleek, modern General Motors Pontiac Training Center. This is one of more than 30 such training centers throughout the United States. These centers are absolutely unique in the automobile business. They have just one job to do, the training of men who will provide you with the quickest, best, most inexpensive service possible whenever you visit your Pontiac dealer. Who attends these training centers? Friends and neighbors of yours, the men who expertly service Pontiac in your community. Do they have to attend? Not a bit, but attend they do by thousands. Pontiac and General Motors know, as do the men themselves, that the information and training they get in these centers guarantees that in the important field of service and maintenance, as in all fields, for greatest value, you can't beat a Pontiac. This same desire to serve you best carries over in all phases of the Pontiac operation. This desire and ability to give you the best in service, the best in deals, the best in merchandise, the best in terms, and the sincere wish to be as friendly and helpful as possible. These are just a few of the things that distinguish a Pontiac dealer. A Pontiac dealer is determined to uphold the Pontiac reputation, a reputation firmly founded through the years on quality and dependability, a reputation earned from millions of satisfied customers. So for the finest of new cars, or safe, smart, honest used car values, for competent, trained, reliable service, or advice on driving conditions, always look for the sign of your neighborhood Pontiac dealer, because for anything automotive, for greatest value, you can't beat Pontiac, a General Motors masterpiece. Niles. In a few days, October 21st, this coming Friday to be exact, you'll see on television and at your neighborhood Pontiac dealers all across the nation the fabulous Stratified Pontiac for 1956. Because we can't show you this exciting new car tonight, we're going to try an experiment, an interesting one, we think. We'd like to show you some motion pictures that we feel express in part just some of the wonderful sensations you'll actually experience when you get behind the wheel of the fabulous 56 Pontiac. Take, for instance, the sensation of free, smooth motion. Ever see a seagull riding the crest of a wave of air, soaring, gliding as smoothly and effortlessly as the breeze itself? That's how you'll feel when you see the new Pontiac flow effortlessly, easily along a highway. Grace in motion. Ever get a thrill of excitement watching a great and powerful horse break like a rocket down the track? That's the same excitement you'll feel as your new Pontiac leaves the stoplight and the other cars far behind. And have you ever had a feeling almost like awe as you watch one of the great cats move, knowing that all that speed and power was concealed beneath an exterior of sleek, sharp beauty? Well, that's the impression you'll get from the new 1956 Pontiac. This new Pontiac introduces one of General Motors' biggest and finest automotive advances, Stratified Hydra-Matic, an automatic transmission so smooth, so swift, it makes motoring feel like magic. So be on hand at your Pontiac dealers when the fabulous Stratostreak Pontiac for 56, featuring this big and vital General Motors' first Stratostreak Hydra-Matic, goes on display for the first time Friday, October 21st. Your first ride will open up a whole new motoring experience because suddenly driving becomes fun again. Easy, effortless, instantaneous. Now don't forget that date. This Friday, October 21st, at your Pontiac dealers. The first day to see the fabulous 1956 Pontiac.
Looking for a really good used car? Then visit your Pontiac dealer and see his fine selection of Goodwill used cars identified by this seal on the windshield. Your Pontiac dealer has a wide selection of late model Goodwill used cars of many makes and is headquarters for late model Pontiacs, America's most desirable used cars. His Goodwill used cars are road tested and inspected to determine reconditioning needs. And then they're thoroughly reconditioned by experts and again road tested as a double check to ensure value and satisfaction. Every Goodwill used car is honestly described and carries a written warranty attesting to its value and the willingness of your Pontiac dealer to back it up. Goodwill used cars are sold only by your Pontiac dealer. See him today for the best used car values in town. For the finest used cars in town, see and drive a Goodwill used car. Goodwill used cars are sold only by your Pontiac dealer and are identified by the Goodwill seal on the windshield, your best guide to outstanding used car value.
The Pontiac Star Chief Custom Catalina. Pontiac with the new Stratostreak V8 engine.
Bold new ideas will someday bring you space platforms to extend man's world into space. Bold bold new ideas will someday bring you exciting new homes to improve man's way of living. And bold new ideas bring you now a new kind of car. Built on a radical new kind of chassis, the bold new 58 Pontiac. Under its hood, a brilliant new concept of engine design. Everywhere, bold new direction styling, coming and going. Clean, functional lines. An equally bold advance in spacious comfort. See the bold new Pontiac at your dealers today. Aero-frame stability for the highway's steadiest ride in the bold new Pontiac. Quadrupoise roadability. Only the wheels know where the bumps are in the bold new Pontiac. New Pontiac.
Good evening, fellow explorers, and welcome to my lecture this evening. I have journeyed into the interiors of the African Sudan, the French Sudan, and the Egyptian Sudan, but never have I encountered an interior to rival that of the Pontiac Sudan. Now, to get to Pontiac, one must make one's way through a veritable jungle of cars. And then, rising above the plain and ordinary, there it is, the celebrated wide track that leads only to Pontiac, fabled goal of travelers young and old. Everyone, I think, is aware of the beauty of the Pontiac exterior, bounded on the north by the Grill of Longing, and on the south by the Cave of Valises. But as you move into the Pontiac interior, it's as if a door opens. As a matter of fact, the door does open, revealing a realm of undreamed-of splendor. Now, here's something rather droll. The various Pontiac groups, tribes, or clans, if you will, to express distinction, have their seats decorated. For example, here are the markings of a typical Catalina, utilizing jewel-tone Morocci. This star chief employs a luxurious and distinctive pattern. This custom-styled but modestly priced Ventura features an all-Morocci'd interior. And this richly tailored Bonneville, a stunning striped wool broadcloth. Here you see a highly skilled local Pontiac artisan building the all-important Pontiac seats with the finest craftsmanship. A recent innovation is the use of thick layers of foam rubber for maximum comfort. You'll also notice that Pontiac craftsmen still believe in the time-honored quality of handwork. Naturally, they use only the finest skins, such as Morocci'd, and fabrics of nylon and wool and richest carpeting. Deep pile carpeting covers the floors and valleys almost everywhere in the serene and quiet landscape of Pontiac. And one more point. The people of Pontiac have a drive to please you. And I urge you to have a drive to please them. As you well know, the Pontiac safaris have given their name to all expeditions that seek the pure and natural thrills the world of travel offers. For Pontiac loves American travelers as much as travelers love Pontiac. And so, as they say in Pontiac, a la Wumba, a Laguna, Cucamonga, which of course translated means, farewell from Pontiac, the only car with wide track wheels.
I do hereby bequeath my personal belongings as follows. To my devoted granddaughter, Adele, the Pontiac Catalina Sport Coupe. To my niece, Zelda, in the light of her many offspring. the 9-passenger Pontiac Safari, plus the snow tire. To my loyal nephew, Anson, the Pontiac Star Chief Vista, 4-door sedan. And to my prodigal grandson, Axel, the Power Lawnmower.
A lawnmower? But no, Granny couldn't do this to me. She promised me the Bonneville convertible for the bucket seat.
There is more, Axel.
Well, thank heaven.
Plus, the red Pontiac Bonneville convertible.
Here, here.
The said Pontiac Bonneville to be held in trust until the said Axel goes into business for himself.
You mean work? I was in a daze, scarcely seeing all the others drive off in their Pontiacs. And then Granny's lawyer offered me a lift in the Bonneville that could be mine if only I could earn it. As he drove, he advised me to pattern my life after the Pontiac I admired so. He said stability in life requires a firm foundation, such as wide track wheels give a Pontiac, and that I should get a grip on myself the way a Pontiac grips the road. Then, when life throws its curves, I'd cling to the road and drive on without lean, without sway, until I reached the goal I had set for myself. He said I should economize the way Pontiac's Tempest 425E engine saves on regular gas, and that I should work and make some investments that would hold their value the way a Pontiac holds its value. The chance to have a Pontiac changed my life, and that's why the grass looks greener for me now, as I work every day for that Pontiac, the car that holds its value like it holds the road.
You'll be inspired, too, if you set your sights on a new Pontiac, the only car with wide track wheels. Right across Canada, it's Pontiac. Good evening. Russ Thompson. There's so much to say about the Pontiac, it's quite a job for me to have to select just a few points. What are the reasons you buy a car? Well, one of the big reasons is styling. Pontiac styling speaks for itself. Now, what you might not know is that Pontiac is inches trimmer outside. Fits right in your garage. But Pontiac interiors, well, they're just right for you, friends. There's room where you want it, especially if you're carrying 6 passengers. And the seats are more comfortable than ever, set at ideal chair height, too. When you visit your Pontiac dealers, notice that Pontiac's door openings are wider and higher. Now, it's a difference you can not only see, but you can feel as well. But something I can't demonstrate or show you now is Pontiac Performance. You'll just have to try a Pontiac yourself. But I can tell you what to look for. A soft, yet controlled ride on full coil suspension. Firm handling that makes you master of the car. And engine performance that's ahead of the rest. In fact, if you choose the Pontiac 6, you're getting Canada's most powerful 6. And Pontiac gives you economy, the long-range kind of economy that lasts over the years. Others compete, but can't compare. Compare Pontiac yourself. Visit your quality Pontiac dealer soon.
Thank you very much for the tip. Hello there. Are you thinking of your holidays? Well, where would you like to go? Take a look at these posters. They'll impress you with what a wonderful country Canada is and the marvel of its variety. Now, I've already got my holiday planned, And all these posters remind me not of where I'm going, but of something else. They remind me of my new Pontiac. Now, take this poster, for instance, on the Twin Cities, Fort William and Port Arthur. And that reminds me of Pontiac. Where you see the distinctive twin grille, you recognize it's a Pontiac at once. And of course, there's this poster, a poster from Calgary. Now that makes me think of the Stampede. Then I think of all the horsepower you get in the Pontiac 6 engine, Canada's most powerful 6. Now, here's a poster from Northern Ontario, which makes me think of the mining industry, nickel, chrome, the sparkling, long-lasting trim on my Pontiac. Now this way you can go all across Canada talking about Pontiac, which as a matter of fact is exactly what you'll be doing if you buy a Pontiac now and take it on your holidays. Cross Canada with Pontiac. Now that's saying you're going to take the most comfortable, convenient, economical, and stylish way to travel. See your Pontiac dealer soon for easily the best way to travel. Pontiac.